What is up, everybody? So this is going to be my first video after the stream of consciousness of the first one. This one is more related to my niche, which is fitness. So what I'm going to do in this video is reviewing my own workouts. So what I did, I put together an upper body routine, and every exercise that I picked was a variation introduced by a famous bodybuilder or powerlifter. So basically that's why the name inspired by legends. I just picked exercises that are actual variation on regular exercises and not just regular exercises that were just done very often by certain people. So for this one, I'm gonna start with the Gironda neck press, which is also known as guillotine press. Now this one, I've never done it before, but I already had my thoughts on it, and yeah, it's exactly what I was expecting, which is the main problem is that you are lowering an iron bar on your neck, so obviously not exactly the safest exercise, and that was pretty much my main concern. That's why I decided to do it at the Smith machine. I just felt like I had a bit more control over the bar. Apart from that, actually on the eccentric, the stretch was pretty good, and yeah, the concentric, like when I pushed the bar up, it felt pretty good. Just because of the position of the bar, it is be more difficult to keep your elbows tucked in. So if you have issues with your shoulder, this one actually might be this one might be an exercise to avoid. So also at the end of every exercise, I added a tier, not a tier list, I added basically a ranking system. So I judge these exercises based on biomechanics, so range of motion, setup, and things like that. Return on investment, which is basically how many gains you get for the amount of effort, and just pure vibes. So when it comes to this one, biomechanics, yeah, pretty much explain what was the main problem, which is again like the constant worry of lowering a heavy bar on your neck, because if you can't push that bar up, you are in big trouble. So that to me is a big issue. That's why I honestly, even if you felt good, like the stretch at the bottom, I still don't justify like doing this exercise instead of a regular bench press, just for the risks that it carries. So this one I would probably avoid. I don't think I would do it again in the future. And yeah, that's why for biomechanics I gave it yeah, 3.5. Yeah, I wasn't really too happy about it. When it comes to the return on investment, another 3.5, just because you get a good stretch, and yeah, you also get a decent contraction at the top. It's just that honestly you could get pretty much the same with a regular flat or inclined bench press, but reducing the risk of injuries much more. So that's why I gave it a bit of a lower vote. In terms of vibes, I give it a 4, just because it's, I don't know, kind of brave in a way. Like, you got balls if you do that exercise, especially if you do it with free weights. If you're in a bit of a depressed mood, maybe don't do it, because you might decide to just let the bar loose, if you know what I mean. Now the next one, oh, actually the final vote then, it would be the basically combined score of biomechanics, return on investment, and vibes. So for the Gironda neck press, I would get the 3.5. It's a decent exercise, and if every once in a while you want to have fun, you know, you want to try different variation, to try different angle, fine, but I don't think I would introduce it in any routine. The next one is another exercise from Gironda, which I don't know if I said it, I don't think so, but is actually the first Mr. Olympia, won the first 2 editions, and he had a sick physique. That would, honestly, for today's standards, I think it would be even smaller than what's called the men's physique, but for me it's the perfect example of aesthetic, kind of like Frank Zane and all of these golden era bodybuilders. Anyway, I'm digressing. The Gironda dips. Now, wait. This one actually, I didn't know that I was already doing them on a regular basis, because I don't particularly like dips for triceps for whatever reason. So I decided to do dips, but for chest. So I was naturally leaning more forward to get a deep stretch on the lower pec. And actually this exercise is pretty sick. One caveat is that if you have issues with your shoulders, if you've had an injury, if your shoulders are particularly weak, maybe you wanna just skip it, and then when your shoulder gets a bit stronger, then you give it a go. Just because in order to get the full range of motion, you really need to give a big stretch on your shoulder. Now, when it comes to the ranking, for the biomechanics, this one I was a bit more generous, so this one was 4.5, just because I really like how it feels. Like, range of motion is perfect, like it's hardest at the bottom where you're getting a deep stretch, and it's easiest at the top where you're, you know, contracting your pecs. So it's exactly how it should be. When it comes to the return on investment, I give it another 4.5. I think it's a great exercise for pec. Obviously, I don't think you're gonna build your pec just out of dips. I think the best exercise is probably still flies. Yeah, cable flies. I think it's one of the best exercises. Obviously, regular bench press, but dips I always try to include it in my routine, just to eat the chest from different angles, with different movements. And for vibes, I 4.5. So this one is actually, yeah, pretty cool. And you know, if you can do it free weight, better. If you can even load it, even better. So it just gives very alpha vibes. So that's why I give it such a high score. Gironda dips is total of 4.5. Now, next exercise, it would be, yeah, next exercise, it would be, yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have done this video without mentioning this exercise, which is the Yates row. So this one obviously were done by 6-time Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates, and this one is pretty sick. So the main difference between this and a regular row is that you need to do it a bit more in an upright position, so it's not exactly a bent over. And yeah, this one feels great. It just engaged a bit more also the lower back, and obviously the mid back is a great exercise for thickness. In terms of biomechanics, again, solid exercise. When you're lowering the bar to the floor, you get a deep stretch in the back, good contraction at the top. I give it a 4 instead of a higher score, just because I think it's a bit higher, a bit more difficult than a regular bent over row to keep an upright position. That is the only thing I found that it wasn't perfect, but apart from that, it's pretty cool exercise, and I will be doing it in the future probably. Give it a 3.5. That's because yeah, the problem to me is that in order to keep an upright position, I need to have a bit more control on the bar, and that doesn't allow me to load as much as regular row. So that's the only thing. Apart from that, it's totally fine. Vibes, obviously, it's not even a question. 5 stars. Anything Dorian related is 5-star just out of vibes. Just always have in mind these, you know, black and white videos, just training like a beast. They motivate me in the low days, you know. So Yates Rose gets a 4-star. I know probably some people are going to be upset about it because it's Dorian, they're going to give it a 5-star. Just wanted to be as fair as possible. The next one is another very popular one, which is the Meadow Rose from the late great John Meadows. This one was pretty cool. It was the first time I tried it, and I already knew I was gonna love it for whatever reason. Yeah, this one, let me see. In terms of biomechanics, 4.5, yeah. So the only problem with this one, even though you get a great stretch at the bottom, where you're lowering the bar, and a great contraction at the top, the main issue that I found is that, first of all, the setup, but maybe it's a problem of the gym where I train, where, you know, the what's it called, the bar attached to the landmine was pretty much in the middle of the passage, so I was in everyone's way. But if you can, you know, if you have the landmine attached in a corner and you have a bit of clearance around, that problem is solved. The other thing that can actually be fixed by stepping on a step is that when you lower the bar to the floor, if you have any plates on it, actually it reduces a lot the range of motion. So that I didn't like. That's why I didn't give it a 5-star, but still excellent exercise. Return on investment, I give it a 4-star. It's pretty solid exercise. Just maybe the setup is, you know, it's not as easy as just picking up a couple of dumbbells and doing reverse flies, but it's still relatively easy. You just attach the barbell to the landmine. The only thing I would say with this one, I would go lower weight and a bit more higher reps. I would try not to load too much because you already try to support yourself on one of your knees, so maybe overloading it might destabilize you a little bit. So that's why I didn't give it a 5. In terms of vibes, it's again another 5, another legendary exercise from a great bodybuilder, and just I don't see many people do it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone doing this, and it is pretty great. Like, you feel very alpha doing this exercise. One of those old school moves that always, I think, hits the spot. This one gets a grand total of 4.5. Now, this one is a bit controversial because I've seen loads of people doing it. I tried it myself many times, and I don't like it as much as the regular shoulder press. I also think that the rotation that you do in front does absolutely fuck all for your shoulders. It's just such an unnecessary necessary move that just takes away a lot of the sort of stress on the shoulders, because when you do shoulder press you want to try to lower the dumbbells almost on the inner side of your biceps to get the full stretch. This one takes away a lot of that, and also you cannot load as much, so I had to use slightly lighter dumbbells, because obviously the rotation takes a lot of energy, but I think that energy could be used in better ways by using heavier dumbbells and doing just a regular shoulder press. In terms of biomechanics, yeah, I pretty much explained why it is not my favorite, and I give it a 3, just because I think it's an inferior variation of the regular shoulder press. Return on investment, this one I give it 3.5. Again, the contraction at the top is pretty much the same as a shoulder press, obviously, but you lose a lot of gains by wasting the range of motion at the bottom, so that's why I could not give it any higher than that. Vibes, I give it a 4, just because it's Arnold, and everyone does this exercise. If you wanna have a fun variation in your workout and you wanna try something new, by all means do it. I wouldn't put it on the same level as other exercises, so this one, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do it on a regular basis. And also the irony is that I've seen everyone doing it but Arnold. Never seen Arnold do this freaking Arnold press. This one, yeah, not my favorite. I give it a total, yeah, of 3.5. This one I saw it very often in what's it called, lean beef patty videos. Looked pretty cool. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did because of the whole rotation of the dumbbells at the top and at the bottom. So I thought it was gonna impact the range of motion, and also I could not load as much, which is partially true, but still the movement felt weirdly smooth. Actually, I fucked up this footage. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It's just that the gym was quite crowded, and yeah, I was pretty much in everyone's way with the freaking tripod. Now, this one, in terms of biomechanics, I give it a 4.5. Yeah, pretty high. I really like the range of motion. It's good because you use the pronated grip or the supine, I don't remember which one is. Anyway, the underhand grip to do the concentric, then you rotate it and you do the underhand grip. So basically you obviously squeeze the biceps, but also on the way down, when you control the eccentric, you also get a great engagement for your forearms. So if it's something that you're trying to grow, this exercise might actually help you. In terms of return on investment, I give it a 4. Yeah, the only thing is that since obviously on the way down you have a weaker grip, you cannot load as much, so I think you lose a little bit of gains on that side. Although if you do lightweight and you lighter weight, not lightweight, and you just get a good control, you still get a very good stretch and a good contraction. 4.5 out of 5. I think it's pretty cool exercise to do. You kind of look like you know what you're doing, and you also look like a bit like one of those sciencey guys about, you know, that are very nerdy about fitness, because you do these more complicated moves, or, you know, interesting takes on regular exercises. So very good vibes on this one. The ranking for that one would be 4.5 stars. So again, pretty solid. Give it a go. Pretty sure you're gonna like it. Last one is called Tate Press by a bodybuilder, by a power lifter named Dave Tate, I think. This one, yeah, this one is a bit of a limitation on the range of motion. I didn't like it as much. The extension of at the top is fine. It just this one, since you're lowering the dumbbells on your chest, the chest obviously blocks the dumbbells from going any lower, so that limits the range of motion a little bit, and I think it takes away a lot of gains, because you could get a bigger stretch for your triceps by doing just a skull crusher with dumbbells, which feels amazing. So that one, yeah, I didn't really enjoy it as much. In terms of biomechanics, yeah, the main problem is the limited range of motion. Just on the eccentric, because the concentric is fine, so that's why I give it a 4. The return on investment, again, the range of motion, I think takes a lot away in terms of gains, so I give it a 3, because I didn't feel honestly a big pump in my triceps, and I didn't feel like they were engaged enough. So I don't think this variation is gonna be part of my future routines. I think I'm gonna stick to regular skull crushers. They're just the best. The last exercise is the Tate press, and I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Just because on the limitation on the range of motion, and just overall, I think it's also uncomfortable, because if you want to progress to heavier weights, you'd have to rest heavy dumbbells on your chest. Alright guys, so I'm just gonna wrap it up very quickly. So after going through this routine, if I had to choose one exercise that I would probably do on a regular basis, it would be the Meadows rows. Now those ones were very good range of motion, great stretch and contraction even with the lightweight, and it's fairly easy to set up. You just need a landmine attachment, you put the barbell, and you're good to go. So that would be my my choice. In general, I would say the takeaway from this experience is that probably not to get too fixated on fancy variations of regular exercises. Just stick with the basics, master the basics, and progress with the basics. And then it's your strength and size is gonna follow. But just don't always try to find new ways to do the same stuff, because if the basics are basics, they're basics for a reason, and the reason is that they work, and they work very well. So focus on that, keep pushing, and always improve. Ciao.